Do you remember the days when we could count the number of professional players we had in our national team? The number was so small that we could count them with our bare fingers. But today we have tons of Gambian professional players playing their trade in different parts of the world. This week or this midweek, there was the Champions League qualifier started. The Europa Conference League qualifier started. CAF made their CAF Confederations Cup draw, and as well as the CAF Champions League draw. And there are many clubs with Gambian players. So in today's video, we would like to look at the Gambian player who could be played in continental football. Assalamu alaikum Bokai. Welcome back to Jijala Football Bantaba YouTube channel, the home of Gambian football. This week, guys, we apologize. We have not been recording a lot this week. We're supposed to, continue with the under 23, the most exciting under 23 players who could represent the Gambia. But today we will talk about the Gambian players who could be playing in continental football. That means the Champions League, that could be the Europa League, that could be the European Conference League, or even players that are playing in Asia or in Africa. The European qualifier started this midweek, and there were a lot of Gambian players who were involved. Of course, it's just the qualification round right now. Does not mean you are playing in the Champions League, but you have a chance to be part of the Champions League. That is what it means. You're gonna play in the qualifiers to get into the Champions League, guys. So if you enjoy what we do on the Jollof Football Bantaba, guys, please consider subscribing to the channel. Please give it a like at the end of this video, guys. Without wasting much of your time, let's get right into the discussion. This midweek there was the Champions League qualification first round started. Of course, the Champions League proper starts in sometime in September. Sometime in September, the Champions League proper, that is when it starts. But before that, usually clubs in the lower leagues, they go through the qualifications round. This week there was Oda Basi from Kazakhstan, where we have Dembo Dabo playing. He played against Petro Club from Moldova. They drew that game 0-0. Dembo came on in the second half for the final 25 minutes of the game. The second leg to play, that one will be played in Moldova. If they win that one, they progress to the second round of the UEFA Champions League qualifiers. The UEFA Champions League qualifiers is a 3-round qualification. You have the first round, second round, and the third round, and then you have a playoffs with another team. So it's kind of a 4-round qualification round, knockout round before you get to the Champions League for clubs in the lower leagues. In the lower leagues like Kazakhstan, Moldova, Latvia, Northern Ireland, these lower leagues. It depends on the ranking, how UEFA rank the country this league. That is how they decide who's going to be in the Champions League. Of course, this year the Champions League will increase. The number of Champions League teams will increase from 32. It used to be 32. Now it will be 36 teams. So there are 4 extra spots in there. So there is more chance for the smaller teams to qualify. Of course, I think 29 teams have already been confirmed their qualification. And then there is still some 7 spots to go. The qualifications round will decide who gets those 7 spots. Like I said, Dembo Dabo was involved in the qualifiers. He plays for Odabasi. He joined them last March from UAE club Al Nassr, where he joined them on loan until the end of the year. He has started very well at Odabasi. He has already played 7 games for them. He scored 3 goals for them. Hopefully, he could help his team qualify for the UEFA Champions League. It will be a difficult task, but at least they are on the way. They have to win 4 knockout stages like I faced, 3 qualifications round and 1 playoff game. And if they do that, they are in the Champions League proper, and they will lock horns with the big boys, like I say. Another club that could also make it to the Champions League, and I think they are they have 1 foot already in the second round. That is RFS in Latvia. That is the club where we have Harna Rasinjai playing and Alfuseni Jata. Alfuseni Jata, unfortunately, he's still nursing his injury. He has a long-term knee injury that he obtained when he was with the national team. He's still yet to recover from that. But Harna Rashid is doing really well with the club. He made his debut in the UEFA Champions League qualifiers, not the proper again. They won the game 3-0. Harna Rashid came on for the final 15 minutes of that game. And he's having a very good start to his career in Latvia, because since moving to Latvia, he has played 8 games for the first team, and he has played 5 games for the second team. In those 13 games he played, he only drew 1 of those games. So 12 of those 13 games he won them. So he's yet to taste defeat since turning professional player. Let's say it like that. Since being a professional player, he's yet to taste a defeat with his club RFS, and that continued with the Champions League qualifiers against a Northern Irish team that is Lane. They won the game 3-0. Rashid came on in the second half. Like I say, played the final 15 minutes of that game. Rashid is a player that, of course, Gambians want him to do really well because we see him as the future of our Gambian midfield because he has some great attributes as a midfielder, and hopefully, he will develop into the player that we see in him. There was another clash in the UEFA Champions League qualifiers between Ludogorets versus Dynamo Batumi. Ludogorets Bulgarian club, where we have Nuha Sonko back. He's playing. He was ever stay for them last season, and then at Dynamo Batumi we have it's a Georgian club where Boubacar Tambedou recently moved to. Boubacar Tambedou, we remember he was with a club in Israel, but they terminated that contract, and then he has sat for quite a while without playing. But he made a move to this Bulgarian club, Dynamo Batumi, and then in their first game, which was the playoffs, which was their Super Cup playoff. Third place playoff, he came off the bench and scored a brace. That was his debut game. He scored a brace in his first game for them, and then this game too, he came on in the second half in the final 15 minutes, but he could not affect the game. Ludogorets won the game 3-1. Nuha Sonko Sonbak was also in the game, but he did not feature. He was on the bench throughout the game. I don't know, because he was injured at the end of the season. He had to do some operation. That's why he was not available for the national team. So maybe that's why he was not in the starting lineup for them. But they won. Ludogorets won the first leg 3-1. So the second leg will be played in Georgia. That will be next week. And then the UEFA Conference League, there were also a few Gambians who were involved in the qualifiers. The most interesting one was, of course, Paide. Paide, they played against Bala from Wales. Paide is an Estonian club where, many Gambian players go through. We know the first choice goalkeeper, the recent first choice goalkeeper, that is Ibrahim Ajayustek. He's their goalkeeper there, and they have just added a couple of Gambians from Real de Banjul. They have added Abdoulaye Cissé and Mohamed Suso from Real de Banjul, two top players. They helped Real win their 14th league title in the Gambia First Division League. And then just 6 days ago or 5 days ago, from Real they moved to Paide. And all of a sudden they are playing, especially Abdoulaye Cissé. Mohamed Suso did not play, but Abdoulaye Cissé did play. He came on in the second half, and then within 6 minutes of play, the boy banged in a goal, and a wonderful goal, one-time finish. Kudos to Abdoulaye Cissé. Abdoulaye Cissé is my thumb, and that's an exceptional way to announce yourself in Europe. And the type of player he is. Of course, he missed most part of the league season last season, most part of the league season with Real de Banjul this year. Because of, I think he was injured at the start of the season. But in the second half of the season, when he came in, the first game he came in, he scored. That's what he did. And then he ended the league season with 6 goals. He only played in the second half of the season. The second half of the season is how many games do we play there? Isn't it like 15 games or 13 games that they play in the second half of the season? And he banged in 6 goals. He did not even feature in all of them because the final game he was not part of it because he had already left for Estonia. Abdoulaye Cissé, top player, top talent. When he came on, he absolutely light up the league for Real de Banjul because they were already in a very dominating position already, but he came in and then just take them to that next level. You are taking a club that was already up there, but you took them to the next level because he was scoring almost every other week when he came back from his injury. I cannot remember the exact month, but he was the Jollof Football Bantaban Space TV Player of the Month in the GFF League. That was the first month he came back in to the league. So he did that, and now he moved to Europe, first game in, and then he banged a goal. Mohamed Suso, unfortunately, who also has been exceptional in the GFF League, he scored 9 goals. He also came to life in the second half of the season. The first half of the season he was not starting regularly, but at the second half of the season they unleashed him. They put him in, and then he proved himself. He scored a lot of goals for them. I think he's one of the main reasons that Real de Banjul are the champions of the league, because the second half of the season he has been the best player in the second half of the league season. season, to be honest. The second half of the GFF League season, Mohamed Suso has been the best player, in my opinion. He did not play that much in the first half of the season, but he was exceptional in the second. He was also involved with Paide, but he was on the bench. He was named in the squad, but he was on the bench. He did not feature. So he's still waiting for his professional debut. Hopefully he will do what Abdullah Cisse do, come on or play, score in his first, professional professional game. I'm sure he has the potential to score in his first game. So we are looking forward to that. He's a player that is highly rated, especially by our expert Space really rate him. He always mentioned Yanko Aminte when he mentioned Mohamed Suso. I think they have gone to trials in the past together. So he always mentioned Suso and Yanko Aminte on the same light. So he think if he has the opportunity, he can hit the heights of Yanko Aminte. And right now, Yanko Minte is the bar for Gambian footballers. So if Space is telling you that this player has that potential, then it's a player that we should keep close eyes on. So we are waiting for him on his debut. So they ended up winning that game by the 2-1 away to Bala in Wales. They have advantage now. They played second leg in Estonia at home. I think they have one of their foot in the next round of these qualifiers after winning this game away to the Wales club Bala 2-1. Another player who was also whose club was also involved but he did not play is the new signing Mohamedou Diatta. His new signing in both ways. He's new signed with an agent that is Ibano Sports, our brother Sirif, and also he signed with Sarajevo in Bosnia. This is his, signed a couple of deals recently. Unfortunately, he was not involved in their first game in the qualifiers. They also won the game 1-0. But yeah, he was not named in the my squads. Yeah, for him, I'm sure he will come. He was the standout player in the Gambia on a 20 team that went to Ghana. Yeah, he looked like a really good player. So I'm sure it's just a matter of time. He just moved to Europe. So some clubs, they don't like to make that transition very, very early. They want to give you time to develop and then before they unleash you. So there is no doubt that his time will come and he will make his debut for Sarajevo in the Bosnian league or even in the European competitions, the European qualifiers, because it looks like they are also qualifying. They are also progressing to the next round. They won the first leg against October from Kazakhstan 1-0, so they have the advantage to play the second leg at home. So if they win that, they progress to the next round of the qualifiers. Yeah, there's tons of Gambian players who could be playing in the European competition. So I will just name the players. Maybe I might even have an oversight on some of the players who could play in the European competitions or who could play in continental competitions. If you look at in Europe, you have Mahdi Kamara of Bre. They qualify for the Champions League proper. Mahdi, yes, he has not represented Gambia yet, but there is still the potential. He was named in the squad. He had discussions with Tom, and at least he gave it a thought. That's why he was named in the squad. So hopefully at some point the new manager will convince him. He's such a top player. You look at another player who could be playing in the Champions League, Nuha Diatta, Leipzig. Nuha Diatta, like I told you last time when I did the best under 23 players or the most exciting under 23 players who could play for Gambia, Nuha Diatta was somebody we covered. We put him at 60 to 70% to play for Gambia. Yes, he is playing for Germany youth teams right now, but according to those who know him, they are telling you that the boy wants to play for Gambia. He did train with the Gambia on a 20 team at some point before we went to the World Cup. So he's a player we should keep an eye on. He will be playing for Leipzig. He made his Bundesliga debut for them last season. If you haven't seen that good video that I did about him, please go and check it out. So Nuha Diatta is another player we could be watching in the Champions League next season. We should be watching in the Champions League if he doesn't make a move. Leipzig are in the Champions League proper. They don't need to go through the qualification round. They are already in the group stages of the Champions League. They are just waiting for the draw. Another player who is straight going to the Champions League proper is Sidi Diatta. Storm Graz. They won the league and cup double last season in Austria, which stopping the 10 years dominance of Salzburg. Sidi Diatta, he has started the season well. They are using him to to model their new jerseys and stuff. That so he's looking like an important player. He could be an important player for them this season. Last season, his season was blighted by injuries. He had a lot of injuries, which did not help his progress. But he was always trusted by the coach whenever he was available. So he's another player we could be watching in the Champions League. We should be watching in the Champions League if he does not make a move. Ibrahim Makoli and Seydou Janko, young boys, they were the champions of the Swiss League. For them, they have to go through the qualifications round. Like I say, the country leagues, it depends on the coefficient where you are, where you are positioned in terms of the UEFA rankings. And then, unfortunately, Switzerland are not at the top team. So it means even if you win the Swiss League, you cannot go straight into the Champions League. You have to go through the qualification round. But for them, I think they only play in the playoffs of the Champions League qualification round. So the final round of the qualifying round. So that's why they were not involved this week. Another player who could be playing in the Champions League, but this one is very unlikely, is Ibrahim Singate, Slavia Prague. They also qualify for the UEFA Champions League qualifications round. But we know Ibrahim Singate might not stay there. He haven't really, they have not really given him his opportunity at Slavia Prague. They have been sending him on loan, and that is how it is looking like. I think Fo reported something like that. There are clubs, interested in him in the Czech Republic League, so he might be moving. But if he does not move and he stays with his club and he managed to break into the team, he could be playing in the Champions League. Ibrahim Singate. Omar Koli, he will be playing in the Europa League if he does not make his move. There are reports that he could be moving to Saudi Arabia. Fo has said that many times. But his club has qualified for the Europa League, so they are going to the Europa League proper. Another player who could be going who could be playing in the Europa League is Ibrahim Adabo. He also is with Roma right now, but we know Roma sent him on loan last season to 2 clubs, so I don't know if he will stay there. Currently, he's training with his Roma teammates, so let's see what happened there. But if he stays with Roma, if Roma decides that he stays with them, then he will have an opportunity to play in the Europa League next season as well. He has been there before. He has won the European Conference League. He's the only Gambian player to win that trophy, or to win a European trophy. Ibrahim Adabo, let's not forget that he won with Roma whilst Mourinho was their manager. Lamin Jawor, Blada Boleslav, they could be playing in the Conference League. They have to play the qualifications round though. Mohamed Sane, also he could be playing in the European Conference League with Ostrava. Ostrava, they finished third fourth in the Czech Republic League last season, so it means they qualify for the European Conference League. Maud Lamin Sonko, who is also a potential to represent the Gambia, he could be playing in the European Conference League with Ghent. And then you look at in Asia, Musa Barrow will be playing in the AFC Champions League 2 with Al Tawun, who finished fourth in the Saudi Pro League last season. Jibril Silla will be playing in the African Champions League with Azam. I think they have to play a qualification round though. Lamin Jallo, CR Belouizdad in Algeria, they also qualify for the Champions League. And then you have Paumad Diop with Simba, also in Tanzania. He could also be playing in. He will be playing in the CAF Confederations Cup. So yeah, this is the list of players that I know of. There are some players that I don't even that I have an oversight of. Tons of players. So like now you are counting the number of Gambian players playing in Europe, like in continental competitions. This is how we used to count the number of players playing in as professional players in Gambia. So this is just a list who could be competing against other clubs in Europe or other clubs in their continent. So which is nice to see Gambian players reaching this kind of level. Gambian football is progressing, guys. Gambian players are progressing. We hope that our authorities, the football authorities, can do something to match this progress with our national team. By that I mean our national team ranking also match with this. Of course, the coach has something to do with that. The players have something to do with that. But the authorities have the main task, because we don't play friendly games, like people say. And recently we have not been having really good results, especially considering we always play our home games away from home, which makes it so difficult for us. The African Cup of Nations qualifiers are coming again September, so hopefully by the time that arrives, we will be playing in the national team stadium, and then and then when we have spaces or when we have international slots that are available, the authorities will do something to make sure that we have friendly games to play, guys. But anyways, I was here to discuss about the Gambian players who could be playing continental competitions this season, and these are the players. So let me know which player excites you the most, guys. Unfortunately, our star boy Yanko Minte will not be playing Champions League, but he's playing in the Premier League, of course. So we can watch him in the Premier League and enjoy his. But anyways, if you enjoyed that, make sure you subscribe to the Jello Football Bantaba YouTube channel and hit that like button, guys.